Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a DIY Dollar Tree 4-foot collapsible Christmas tree. I have seen these Christmas trees at Bri Lane Home. They are called Flat to Fabulous. They are pre-decorated for $180. We're not going to make one even close. So I'm going to upcycle a piece of styrofoam, but you can get foam blocks at the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use a bucket. This one's from the Dollar Tree, a little galvanized with some jute. I'm going to also get a package of these stones. They are 32 ounces. Again, everything here is from the Dollar Tree. We're going to use a wire wreath form. You can either get this, lucky enough to get this one, or you can just use the 14-inch wreath form that they have, and as well as the 8-inch wreath form. So now if you can't get these, you can always use any of the wreaths because we're pretty much going to cover them anyway. You're going to need 3 packages of these ties. These are called wreath ties, as well as the green jute. Again, there's so much of this overflowing. It does come in a Christmas package like this red one. They sold red and green, or you can get it in the 3-pack. It's 2 beige and 1 green. And a mop. This mop especially is what we're using for the measurements. All right. And then we're going to need 3 of these 15-foot garlands from the Dollar Tree. They're such great quality this year, for sure. Now, I wanted to put together you guys a tree that is entirely from Dollar Tree products, easy, lightweight, and storable. I hate putting together projects that you have to like get rid of or try to find a place to store. So we're going to start with the pail, and then we're going to just put the 2 pounds of rocks in the bottom of the pail. Now this foam block, I was gifted a cart. Thank you very much for the person who gifted me that cart. And this was one of the foam blocks that was in storing it. And with the holiday seasons and all the shipping coming, you probably get a lot of foam. But you can buy square blocks like this at the Dollar Tree. And we're just going to foam it. Now you can see it is sticking up. I didn't cut it down entirely. What I'm going to do, and I kind of like don't really show you this, unfortunately it was off camera, is I just go connect corner to corner with a line. I took a straight edge and a marker, and I connected corner to corner. I removed the handle so I could find to make sure that it comes off, and the sponge head. And then at the best straight up and down angle, you can use a level if you want to. I inserted the pole into the styrofoam. I kind of did it in a twisting motion to not make my hole too big, and I also dug it down into the rocks. So now you're going to need to cut your jute. You're going to need 3 pieces at 42 inches and 6 pieces at 21 inches. These measurements are only important if you're going to stick to the exact same size tree as we are making here. I've kind of figured it out for you guys, okay? So on the 3 supports, you're going to need to tie knots. And the way I did it was I just went down in the front, underneath the pole. The pole is the center upright, okay? So I went down between the 3rd and 2nd loops, under the pole, back out, and then tied the knot. Because I wanted to make sure it was tied not only to the center, to the supports, but also to the ring. Okay, so you just want to make it so that you could tie a knot on both of those. Now, the way it's measured, you don't want to make your tail any more than about 1 inch. So you want to make sure that you kind of tie them all as evenly as possible. The reason you want to do this is because this is what's going to keep it hanging evenly. It is kind of semi-adjustable, but you want really, for the balance of the tree, you want to make sure that it's done as evenly as possible. And I will tell you, mine is still balanced and it is still not perfectly level. So don't panic about that, okay? So now what I'm doing is I'm taking the string that I've tied on, I'm feeding them, I'm trying to be mindful of how I hold the handle of the broom, and I'm feeding them through the handle of the broom and tying it to the opposing side. The reason we're doing this is how we're going to hang our tree. And I've done this to all 3 knots. Then I just wrap it up to get it out of the way for a minute while I tie the small ring to the big ring. Now, once again, I'll go over it one more time. We tied a string to the small ring on the outside ring where the center support was. We fed it through the handle of the mop and tied it to its opposing side. So straight across on the circle, we tied it back to the ring. We did this 3 times, and we made sure that we kept our strings straight and didn't get it twisted. Now we're going to do the 3 corresponding uprights to 3 corresponding uprights on the big tree ring, and then we're going to do wherever a knot was where it came across, and we're going to tie that to the 3 remaining uprights. So basically, guys, here's what we did. We took a small ring and we fed jute through the handle of the mop and tied it to the other side of the small ring. Then we're attaching the 21-inch pieces of string from the small ring to the big ring at 6 points. So all of that to say that. And it actually is really simple. I know this is a long video because it did take quite a while to do, but it is really, really simple. I worked it all out for you guys, so it's super easy to take care of, okay? And then once you have all of your 6 points connected, again, you want to do it to the outside ring of the small ring and the outside ring of the big ring, okay? We tie it on the outside. So imagine if you tied it on the inside, when you go to wrap the tree, it will show the ring. So that's why you want to tie it to the outside. But I'll show you what I mean in a minute, okay? So there we have it. So this is basically these 2 rings, and you feed them over the mop handle. See how it looks? And then we're going to build our tree from the bottom to the top. So what I need you to do for the bottom half of the wreath, we're going to use the wreath ties, but we're going to use half a wreath tie. And then for the top half, we're going to use the wreath ties cut in thirds. So what I did was I just cut a whole bunch of halves. What you just saw me and Jimmy do there is I felt that this new garland was a little flat from shipping. So what we did was, if you notice, it kind of flows in one direction, you know, like it lays in one direction. I held it through my hand and he pulled while we basically fluffed it by dragging it in the other direction. If that makes any sense to you, I hope it does. Because this goes super fast, I'm so sorry it goes super fast, but I really wanted to show you everything. And like I said, it is a little bit of a tedious process. But what I'm doing is everywhere that there is a string and an upright, we are tying this garland to this wreath form at every intersection, okay? And I'm just using a twist tie, and I made sure I went diagonal. So if I started it at the top right of the intersection between the string and the wreath form, then I pulled it out on the bottom left, and I made sure I did that to twist it around so that I would have full support on top to bottom and left and right. Okay, and these tie on pretty tight. We noticed that if we really had to move them up and down on the jute, we really wanted to be able to make them permanent. So just by twisting them tight enough, they stayed in place. So when we wanted to fill in a holiday is like what we call the spaces that didn't get any jute, we had to really manually manipulate them. Say that 10 times fast. Manually manipulate them down the string. They didn't just slide very easily, which was really good for us. So this is what took the most time, and I feel like I rushed through the beginning of the instructions, and I'm really sorry. I wish I could go back in time and do some things different, but I'll show you in the end how we jazz it up and zhuzh it up. So I hope that everybody did get the gist of what we did with the strings. I kind of feel like it looks way more complicated than it is. It really truly is so simple. There is 3 strings strung through the whole of the handle on the mop, and they are strung onto the small ring. Those are 42-inch strings. So it's basically making it about 21 inches from the top of the mop handle down to the small ring. And then the 21-inch sections tying the small wreath form to the big wreath form, which is creating that beautiful, like, conical shape that trees have. Now, I pretty much started this for Jim, and then I let him finish it. Because I wanted to show you guys that you don't have to be a super skilled crafter to put this together. I cut the ties for him, and he went ahead and he added it, and he did that the wrapping and the wrapping and the twisting and the twisting, until we got to the point where I noticed that he was giving his tree a little bit of a girlish figure. So be careful that you don't twist it too tight around the tree, because then you'll pull the strings in and create a little waistline. Just let it go naturally, as I tried to tell him. I tried to naturally wrap the garland around the way it was kind of coming off the package in that same circular direction, and as you could see here, and then I was using that natural shape, and I wanted him to just continue to not pull it too tight but not leave it too loose either, because wherever you tie the thing on, it'll manipulate the string. So if you put too much slack between the strings, you'll bow the string out. If you and you'll make a crooked tree. So you just want to go naturally where the garland lands on the strings. Go ahead and tie them wherever they land. Don't pull them in too tight. Don't spread them out too much. Okay, that was really the advice that I gave him. And then I started to cut the wreath ties in thirds. The way I did that was a third of this happened to just be around my hand. So I went over my fingers forwards, back around the back of my hand, and then over my finger again, fingers in the front again, and then it went that was folding it in thirds. But however you have to measure to fold it in thirds and cut the little pieces in thirds. Now, what's great about this, besides that you can store it, I was just explaining to Lisa, because I really made this with her in mind. You know, she has a little apartment. She's getting older. It's harder for her to put stuff together. And this stores in, other than the pole, it stores in a wreath holder. I got my wreath holder out of the closet and I fit it all in there, including the little bucket. So I wanted to be able to for her to have it so she can have a tree in the future for years to come, and for it to be easy for her to actually decorate it. You know, she has lots of help, kids putting ornaments on the tree, but actually setting up the artificial tree is another story altogether. Okay, so I wanted to be able to do this where it can store nice and low, nice and easy, and really not cost a lot of money. This entire project, including the second trip, when I originally started it, I had 2 packages of twist ties. Actually, I had a package and a half of the wreath ties and 2 garlands, and I ended up having to run out for another half garland and another package of the wreath ties. So entirely, I figured that this project cost me about $11 to make this tree. And I know that sounds crazy. You got a 4-foot tree that collapses completely for $11 in the little farmhouse bucket. But yes, that's exactly what I did. Now, you can make this bigger. I was thinking, if you wanted a 6-foot tree, you could get your hands on a 22-inch hula hoop, or maybe you have an old wreath form that you can recycle laying around the house. The only thing I suggest is that you get an actual artificial tree stand that holds like a little pipe, just because it would give more stability. The fact that this weighted bucket, really does hold this tree up is the fact that it's only a 4-foot tree. And technically, I don't want to be misleading. It's a 4-foot tree with the bucket. So it's really probably 3 feet a tree. But whenever you get a tree at the store, they always measure it from the floor to the top. So that's how I measured it. But I would get a real tree stand with more splayed legs. But other than that, it's completely collapsible. Now, the other thing, if you guys are interested, is you can go ahead and you can put the bark on the tree. I'll insert the video of the lemon tree we made down in the description box down below. We covered the mop handle, or the broom handle, that was in that case, with craft paper soaked in glue and water, and it makes such a realistic tree trunk. It's what they use in theater to create lots of times in theater to create the texture on tree trunks. So if you are really opposed to seeing this trunk from time to time. If that happens, then you can go ahead and you can cover it, or you could spray paint it, or whatever you guys want to do. I wanted to add I'm going to make another video of it decorated. I'm going to show you how we're going to decorate it, and then how we collapse it once it's decorated. So the inspiration piece, like I said, was a catalog that I had been getting for years and years. I want to say decades and decades. Bry Lane Home is where I bought lots of stuff for my house, lots of linens and stuff throughout the years. And they have had this flat to fabulous tree. And if you get a chance to check out their website, they have a little video on how the lady puts it together in like no time, exactly how I do it. It comes in a big giant wreath thing. You clip the top on and you drop it down, and well, voila, it's a tree. But I'll show you at the end. Jimmy's going to take it apart for you and put it back together so you guys can take a look at that. The one that you get from Bry Lane Home is decorated. I'm not crazy about that up and down ribbon thing. I know a lot of people like that. It's not my cup of tea. So when I decorate it, I'll decorate it the way I would do it if I was keeping the tree. But I'm going to show you a couple of different decorating ideas for that, because I know that I don't decorate until after Thanksgiving, but I know a lot of people who decorate the day after Thanksgiving, and I wanted to be able to give you guys this. If you need a tree, to get how to get this tree, as close to when you might need it as possible, as well as the decorations we're going to be making in the next couple of days. So this was very helpful to him, for me to be there, just to lend support, to hold up garland while he was twist tying. So if you have a partner, you definitely would make your life easier, but it is definitely not necessary. You just need to take a little bit more time and have a little bit more patience, okay? Well, I don't know about more patience. Working with my husband sometimes really does take a lot of patience on both of our parts. But we do it. We do it really well together. And if you guys are interested, Jim didn't hurt his wrist. He has what I believe is a gangliated cyst. It doesn't hurt. He just uses that wrist guard to keep pressure on it so it doesn't get very swollen, okay? But I'm sure people will be asking me in the comments, so you go ahead and you don't have to ask me in the comments. All right? And just for when we're getting close to the top, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. We're about to hit 22,000 subscribers and 2 million views, which is just crazy to me. Like, I don't know. I can't wrap my head around it. And in 2 weeks, we're only going to be on the air for 2 years. So I really just want to thank everybody who watches. Thanks everybody who subscribed, all the members of the family. I really cannot tell you enough. Thank you. Okay. Now, as far as the base is concerned, I wanted to tell you there are other options at the Dollar Tree. Besides the rocks, there is cat litter. Cat litter is weighty and still just $1. Like I said, there is foam blocks, but there are other buckets. There are other flower pots that would probably give you more stability, kind of like the lemon tree. The lemon tree, of course, I wanted it to look like a potted plant, so it was put in a pot like that. But just to show you that, you can do it farmhouse style like this, or you can go ahead and you can get any kind of potted plant that you can, that you can get that you want to put your tree into. But just keep in mind how much filler you'll need as well. All right. Now, I'm finishing this off by myself. Jim had to go cook dinner. He's such a good husband. But when I got towards the top, I realized I didn't need to tie on at every string anymore. The kind of the garland is actually staying in place, like with gravity a little bit. But I told him, I was like, we can always go on and add more. We did have 3.5 packages of this, and we have a whole package and a quarter left. I'm pretty sure like a quarter. But we could go ahead and add plenty more. And I'm going to show you a tip at the end how you can give it more of a tree feel, like an actual branch tree feel for hanging your ornaments and stuff. But you can hang your ornaments on any part of this. as well as as well as all of the little branches. Now, if you feel like you want to glue your branches on, or glue once you're done, take your hot glue out and hit it up, you go right ahead. It's not necessary. I didn't find it necessary, but if you feel like it would make you feel better, absolutely 100%. Now, if you have cats or kids or puppies, you may want to consider a different base as well, because again, this one, just for this tree, holds this tree perfectly. I don't know if you just saw it there, but I actually was pulling on it and it started to tip over. So if you do have the chance of somebody pulling on your tree, then you might want to find a different bucket for the bottom, or a different flower pot for the bottom. But as far as it's standing here, it's been standing on my table for the last 24 hours, and the cat sniffed and the whole bit. Now, I'm sorry I didn't realize it was off camera, but to finish off the tree, I was just wrapping it around a few times, and I took about a 6-inch piece and I fed it through the hole and up through the top. The top is completely covered, and now there's a place to put the star if you want. So now I'm going to show you quickly how to take it off. So first I'm going to teach Jimmy how to take it off. What you're going to do is you're going to grab he's a righty, so he's going to grab the broom handle top with his right hand and down the broom handle length somewhere in the tree with his left, and just twist, and it comes right off. And that's how flat it lays. It doesn't lay perfectly flat like the inspiration piece, because my husband tied it a little tight at places, but it's fine. It still takes up no room. And then just to put it back in, you do just the opposite. So I wanted to show you guys how easy it was to assemble. You just take both rings, lay it over the top, find the broom handle. He was having a little trouble, but I wanted to show you guys. Just patience. There you go. And that's it. So he is spinning it around to find the best side. Just like when you get a real tree, you want to go ahead and spin around and find the best side, don't you? Okay. Oh. So if you have a holiday like this, now granted, this is direct light and this branch isn't really fluffed up properly, blah, 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 blah. But if it's objectionable to you, then you can take little pieces of the branch like this and you can twist it around. So if you make them extra long, then you can actually make it look like a tree. But if you just fold it in half, switch the top to the bottom, and you can see how you can make it so that you cannot see in there as much. See that? There you go. So I also wanted to add, if you want more branches, so what you could do is you can cut them in thirds, wrap the very end around the garland so that it sticks out like a branch, and it will hold an ornament. Not a heavy duty one, but it will hold a Christmas ball or whatever. I so am in love with this tree. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Don't forget to leave any questions in the comments down below. Share with friends and family. Anybody you know might be interested in making one or two for your outdoors or your fireplace. At this price, you can't beat it. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe, and when you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. And as always, you take care, God bless, and we'll see you next time. Bye!